One of the questions I get over and over again is, Chris, I'm coming to Los Angeles, where should I stay? And so that's what I'm talking about in this whole video, sharing with you some of my favorite neighborhoods to stay in, some of my favorite hotels to stay in those neighborhoods, also sharing with you some places that I would recommend you don't stay. Now, if you have an opinion, you've been to Los Angeles before, you have some favorites that maybe I missed, definitely let me know, because LA is huge, and so there's no way that I've stayed at or been to every neighborhood and every hotel in the city. So first, I want to start with just defining a little bit of what LA is, and then we'll jump right into the best neighborhoods, cities, and hotels. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can take a look at a map, and so just defining some terms as to like what is the city of Los Angeles. And I'm gonna bounce around a few different mapping applications here to represent different things, but you see this red line right here. This red line represents the city of Los Angeles with this little noodle that comes down here all the way to the port. In the city of Los Angeles, there are 121 different neighborhoods that are in there, and there's about 4 million people that live in the city. Now, when most people talk about Los Angeles, they're not really talking about the city, particularly if you're traveling there. You might be talking about Los Angeles County. So how big is the county? Well, that's this red line that's right up here, so that's a bigger set of things. The county of Los Angeles is home to 10 million people and is home to 88 cities. How many neighborhoods? That's about 500 different neighborhoods in that county. But really, when people are coming to LA, what they're talking about is something you would call Greater Los Angeles, and that's actually like a search that you can search here in Google, but it's apparently so big it just zooms out and doesn't draw a box on it. But for the purposes of this video, Greater Los Angeles includes Los Angeles County, it includes Ventura County up here, it includes San Bernardino County over this way, and it includes Orange County down to the south, home to Disneyland, and it includes Riverside. What Greater Los Angeles does not include is Palm Springs, San Diego, or Santa Barbara. If you're going to those places, that's for a different video. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into Los Angeles now and my favorite places to stay. So I want to bring up Google Earth, and we're gonna zoom into downtown Los Angeles. And you know, there are some people who will say avoid downtown Los Angeles at all costs because LA doesn't really have a core like many cities where you go to where like all the hotels and all the touristy stuff is in the same place. But downtown Los Angeles does have the big high-rises that are in LA. It is in this kind of set of freeways here that are ringed around by the 10, the 101, and the 110. And so that makes downtown LA. And you can see these high-rises over here. What I like about staying in downtown LA, I like it as close to LA Live. That's right here. This is the Crypto.com arena. So this is where you'll see a lot of basketball, sporting events. There's some musical acts that play here. It's really close to the convention center if you're here for a convention. It's also very close to Union Station. There are trains that come in right here. You can take those trains north up the coast or south down the coast. Really convenient if you're going down to San Diego. And downtown LA is very well connected to the metro system, the subway in Los Angeles. Many people don't even realize Los Angeles has a subway. It in fact does, and so if you're using public transit to get around, downtown LA can be a good place for you to stay. Now, I also told you some places you don't want to stay, and I'll give you some cons almost to every area that I'm going to be talking about. So the con of downtown LA is it can be expensive. Parking can also be really expensive, and downtown LA does get pretty sketchy at night. It is also close to Skid Row. So what is Skid Row? This is where we're gonna go to our other map right here, and we're gonna type in Skid Row because Google Maps does better at drawing these bounding boxes right here. So these are these freeways that I showed you right there, and then this little box right here, this is Skid Row. Skid Row is a 50-block area east of downtown, bordered by 3rd, 7th, Alameda, and Main Street. This is where it is legal to live on the street. And so the largest homeless population in the world lives in Skid Row, and so you generally want to stay clear of Skid Row. Okay, so what are my favorite hotels if I am staying in downtown LA? So I put together this little trusty list right here of my favorite hotels to go through, so that if you want to see them or you want to check the rates or book, they're just in an easy page with all these things together. You'll find the link to this in the description. So looking in downtown Los Angeles, I've organized these by all the different neighborhoods, and then actually if you scroll down, it even gives you a little map. So we're gonna go ahead and zoom in to downtown LA right here, and starting with hotels around LA Live. This is the LA Live area. I have a couple hotels that I like right here. One, if you're going on the super high end, the Ritz-Carlton, it's really nice. You look at a picture of it right here. It's pretty much in the same building as the JW Marriott Los Angeles LA Live. They're like right next to each other. So if you're going a little lower end, the one I tend to stay at is the JW Marriott LA Live. You can get rates there in the low season of $200 to $300. And if you don't have a car and you're taking public transit, Ubering around, going to a convention, sporting event, I think that's a pretty good place to stay. There's a few other hotels around LA Live. We've got a Hotel Indigo, which is pretty nice. There's the Courtyard. The Intercontinental is a little further up here in downtown. What's cool about the Intercontinental, it is one of the tallest buildings in downtown LA. It has an amazing rooftop bar and viewing area. Really nice, new, swanky hotel. The Westin Bonaventure right here is a classic, just a little bit further up the street. And then if we go up on the hill right here, there's a Disney concert hall that's over here, and then just right across from the Disney concert hall is the Conrad Los Angeles, another new hotel, high-end in the Hilton chain. You can actually see this picture is taken from the Walt Disney Concert Hall. It's also right next to the Broad, which is one of the major museums in downtown LA that people come to visit. And now a recommendation that might be unique that you might not get all the time is a cool place to also consider staying in downtown Los Angeles is in Little Tokyo. Little Tokyo is a neighborhood that's just kind of over this way, so it's a little bit off the beaten path. And don't worry, not Skid Row. Skid Row's this area over here. Little Tokyo right here, home to big Japanese population, or was. Now it's home to little Japantown with a lot of Japanese restaurants, things like that. But there's a legitimate Japanese hotel over here, the Miyako Hotel Los Angeles. And so if you want to experience a little bit of Japan while you're in LA, that's a great place to stay. Great food right around there as well. You can totally walk around Little Tokyo, though it is a small, like, three block area. Then you want to make sure you don't venture too far out into Skid Row. Star in the chat says, we like the Miyako. So Star, thank you for seconding the Miyako. All right, so I want to go on now to my next favorite neighborhood, which is West Hollywood. And so let's go ahead back to Google Maps over here and find West Hollywood. So this is one where we zoom out like this, and then we'll type in West Hollywood. You'll notice I'm going number 2 is West Hollywood and not just Hollywood. We're gonna get back to Hollywood in a moment, but West Hollywood is this area over here. Every place in LA has this weird, like, why did they come up with this line for West Hollywood? I have no idea, but that's West Hollywood. It is home to the Sunset Strip. There's a bunch of great hotels that are here, but before we do that, you noticed I jumped from downtown LA all the way over here to West Hollywood. So a lot of people will ask me, Chris, what about these areas of Westlake, Koreatown, Central LA? That sounds pretty good. None of these would be super high on my list to stay. Koreatown, while it does have some great Korean food, has some pretty sketchy areas of Koreatown. If you are planning to stay in Koreatown, then I would recommend you stay along Wilshire Boulevard right here. Wilshire is the main street that runs through kind of like the middle of LA. Wilshire will take you all the way from downtown LA all the way to the ocean in Santa Monica. Like, it's a street that runs for a long, long way. So that's kind of the central nice core of Koreatown, and it kind of dissipates out of there. But over here in West Hollywood, what's cool about West Hollywood is there's lots of great restaurants, there's lots of great nightlife. You can totally walk around West Hollywood. So let's talk about some of my favorite hotels in West Hollywood. The Andaz, really neat hotel. Andaz is a concept out of Hyatt. We're going to scoot over here so we can get over to West Hollywood. So the Andaz right up here. They call them lifestyle hotels, but really kind of a funky, unique style hotel up in the Hollywood Hills here, so you can feel like you're living that Hollywood lifestyle with the rooftop bar. And if you're looking more on the high end, you can check out the West Hollywood edition, but there's a lot of hotels in that area that you can't go wrong with. Okay. In the chat, there's a couple of comments about Koreatown, so let's take this. Justin says, the only time I stay in Koreatown is for the convenience of being close to the Wiltern if you're going to a show there. And so, yes, on this point about like any neighborhood in LA, you might have a reason to stay there if there's something you want to do there and you want to be close. But many people look and say like, well, I'm going to be in LA for a week. What is the one place that I should stay? Now, a tip that I would give right here off the bat is actually consider breaking up your LA stay into multiple different neighborhoods because it is so big. You might want to stay near Universal Studios for one part of it, and then you might want to stay down by Disneyland for another part. They're so far away that you probably don't want to spend a lot of time driving between the two. And Yip says, do I ever think of staying in hotels close to home is worth it? For sure. I've stayed in the LA Live, JW Marriott. I've stayed in a number of these hotels, and so I think it's worth it, particularly because the traffic is so bad in the LA area that driving around can be pretty challenging. Okay, so now let's talk about the Hollywood neighborhood, and we're gonna bring up our map again, and we're gonna go ahead and type in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Okay, so Hollywood comes right over here. This area, definitely the most famous part of Hollywood is Hollywood Boulevard. That's right up here. This is the Hollywood Walk of Fame that has all the stars on it, so you can see kind of geographically where that is. From downtown LA, it's kind of to the northwest, and then you get up here. I don't recommend Hollywood. I really don't. And I do have some recommended hotels that I'm going to share with you because there are people that are destined to stay there. They're like, Chris, I'm going to LA to go to Hollywood. You're not going to tell me not to stay there. It's not a great area. It's really, it's either super touristy, super manufactured, or there's also pretty large homeless, kind of druggy population around Hollywood. Not the place you also want to walk around at night, maybe even in the day, some places. What it is convenient for, it's convenient if you want to take the subway to Universal Studios. It's convenient if you want to take the subway down to downtown Los Angeles, because if I can turn on my little transit things here, you can see that there's this red line. The red line that's a subway is probably the most convenient transit option for tourists, and it runs from downtown Los Angeles along Hollywood Boulevard up to Universal Studios. So that's a convenient reason to stay in Hollywood. You could stay there, be central, do Hollywood Boulevard, do Universal Studios, do downtown LA, and then get out of there if you're exploring other parts of Los Angeles. It's also close to the Griffith Observatory, which is one of LA's most iconic attractions. You can see it spinning around up there, up on top of the hill. Okay, so if you are going to stay in Hollywood, then where would that be? Well, that would be the Lowe's Hotel Hollywood, which here, we're gonna go over here to Hollywood. So there's basically like two sets of areas that I recommend. One is around the Hollywood and Highland subway station, and the other one is around the Hollywood and Vine subway station. Because if you're staying there, another reason not to have a car, take public transit, take those things to those places. The lesser sketchy of the two is around Hollywood and Highland. This is where the Dolby Theater is. This is where they do the all the Hollywood awards ceremonies. The Lowe's Hotel is in this Hollywood and Highland shopping mall. And then if you're looking for something a little less big, because Lowe's is a pretty big hotel, they do a lot of conventions, then you might want to consider the Hotel Roosevelt. Hotel Roosevelt is a classic hotel, cool old architecture like this. So if you want to stay in a bit of old classic Los Angeles, then consider the Hotel Roosevelt. It's just kitty corner from the Dolby Theater. And then if you're going to a musical, perhaps, the big theater in Hollywood is over here. It's called Pantages Theater. It's right across the street from the Hollywood and Vine station. The W Hollywood is right next to it. And so those are my 3 recommendations if you're destined to stay in Hollywood. In the chat, Steve Martin just dropped a little emoji in the chat. Thank you very much, Steve Martin, for that. Okay, now I mentioned Universal Studios, and to say, like, you could stay in Hollywood to go to Universal Studios. You could also stay in downtown LA to do that because you could take the red line. My recommendation for most people is if you're going to Universal Studios, just to go ahead and stay there. So Universal Studios is in its own little city that they call Universal City. It does have a subway stop, but it also has 2 hotels that are right at Universal Studios that are like right there on the property. One is the Sheraton Universal right here, and then just right next to it is the Hilton Universal. Okay. Of course, the con of the pro of staying there is you just walk to Universal Studios. The con of staying there is you're not going to walk to anything else. You're just going to go there to Universal Studios. But again, if you do have a car, or even if you don't have a car, it is worthwhile to change hotels and be like, well, I'll stay in downtown LA for a little bit, and then the next day I'm going to go to Universal Studios. I'll move up there, I'll Uber in, move my car up there, check in the night before, go there the morning of, have them hold my luggage, come back the next night, go someplace else. LA is totally built for that kind of a trip. Looking in the chat, I see Nick Weaver says, we have booked the Sheraton for January 2025. All right, I hope you enjoy it, Nick. And on the train line, it's just like, it's up the hill from the train, but yeah, you can walk down to get to the subway. There's a question about where to stay near Disneyland. I will get to Disneyland. And we're going to get to Glendale. Jake says Glendale is good. And Yip Animation says, of course, the problem with Universal is those hotels tend to be very expensive. They do, but you're absolutely paying for the convenience. And, you know, because they're a Sheraton and Hilton, if you have any of those points, then that makes a good use of them. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out a bit and talk about these areas that are kind of like up here to the north. This whole set of things is often what they refer to as the valley. It's over the mountains, and it's this valley up here, the San Fernando Valley. Most of this stuff that's up here is suburban LA. There's not a lot of tourist attractions. There's not a lot of reason for you as a tourist to stay. Oh, I'm not going to share the screen anymore. It's better if I share the screen. All right, so this area that's up here north of Universal Studios, you know, looking at places like Panorama City, Van Nuys, Tarzana, the city known as North Hollywood. This is like suburbia LA. This is not a place where you would stay normally as a tourist. If you've got friends, family, if you've got business to be there, absolutely. Burbank is one that people hear a lot because Burbank is a big television recording production place. The one reason why you might want to stay around Burbank is there is a airport here. There's the Burbank Airport. You might find it more convenient to fly into the Burbank Airport, or cheaper to fly in there than you would to fly into LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, which is down this way. You'll certainly find cheaper hotels up in this area. So if you got a car and you're willing to drive around, you could totally go for it, but it's not on my recommended list. My next on the recommended list is Glendale. Then we got down here. This is just to the east of Griffith Park. Griffith Park is that park that has the it's got the Hollywood sign that's up here. It's got the Griffith Observatory. It's got the Los Angeles Zoo. So there's a lot to see in Griffith Park, and Glendale is just right next to it. Glendale has a, it's also pretty close to downtown LA, as you can see this way. It's just a short 10-minute drive without traffic. It has a nice walkable downtown neighborhood core to Glendale. It's cheaper than downtown LA. It's much safer. And you can walk around daytime or nighttime in Glendale. Where do I like to stay? If I'm going to Glendale, I like the Hyatt Place Glendale. And you can see I've actually got a video review of the Hyatt Place Glendale. So if you're like, Chris, do you find it valuable to stay in these places? I've stayed there. So yes. And then the Residence Inn that is right by it, also close in that downtown core. The city that kind of neighbors Glendale, that people often use these in the same breath as to where they might stay in LA, is Pasadena. So yes, and as I mentioned, there's like a gazillion neighborhoods in LA, but the next big city over here to the east is Pasadena. Pasadena is one of LA's oldest and nicest neighborhoods. It's a little further from downtown Los Angeles. It's about 10 miles from downtown Los Angeles. But It's famous for the Rose Parade that you see on TV every year. It's famous for the Rose Bowl. There's really cool historic street along. I'm gonna switch over here to Google Maps for a moment, just so you can. In Google Maps, I can like click on pictures of things, but then I can't get to all my hotel pins. Okay, so this is the city of Pasadena, right? And again, this interesting like. Why is Pasadena shaped like this? I have no idea. I didn't draw that. But this main street right here, Colorado Boulevard, this is the main thoroughfare through Pasadena. So there's a lot of just like, I don't know, Earth Cafe is like a classic place there that has a lot of cool coffees and breads. Chris, why are you showing me coffees and breads? Mostly because I want to show you the building. This is what like a lot of Pasadena looks like. This old classic architecture, things like this. The other cool thing, there's a lot of cool things in Pasadena, but is this this In-N-Out Burger is pretty cool. This is one of the oldest operating In-N-Out Burgers, again to like the historic part of Pasadena, you know, old school. Oh, there's a video. You just like walk up to it. Let's turn off that volume. You just walk up to it, tiny little drive-through, no place to even eat in at this place, but also the here, we'll type this in. Pasadena City Hall. If you're looking to take some classic photos, particularly wedding photos or quinceanera photos, the place is the Pasadena City Hall. This place, particularly golden hour when the sun is setting, is just overrun with photographers. And people in like extravagant dresses and attire. I've never seen so many people out one place taking pictures, but truly one of the most beautiful city halls I've seen in the USA. Okay. Pasadena is also home to Caltech. It's home to NASA JPL. It has a cool botanical gardens at what they call the Huntington Library, Art Gallery, and Botanical Gardens. So this really neat botanical garden that's up there. This is not free. You do have to pay to go in the Huntington. They also have a original copy of the Declaration of Independence. It's a garden and a library. The con of Pasadena is it's more remote. It's more remote than Glendale, so you're going to spend more time driving from Pasadena to go places. If you're going to stay in Pasadena, where do I recommend? If you're looking on the high end, I recommend the Langham Huntington Pasadena. This is one of the probably like highest end hotels you could stay at there. It is near the Huntington Gardens. The Huntington Gardens are here, and the Langham is right here. If you are looking to be more in the action, right up here along Colorado Avenue, I've got two recommendations. One is the Hyatt Place, a good new extended stay hotel. My second one is the Hilton Pasadena. There's also another hotel in there called the Dena, just D-E-N-A, Dena, right there. So there's kind of like three that you'll find, very conveniently located there. All right, let's take a few comments from the chat before we go on to Beverly Hills. I hear Christian say Laguna Beach is my favorite beach area in the LA. Yes, if somebody asks me what my favorite beach is, it's Laguna Beach, and we're gonna get to that for sure. There's some talk about Portos in Burbank. Yes, there's a number of Portos. There's also a Portos in Glendale. Portos is one of the quintessential LA area bakeries. It's a Cuban bakery, definitely not to be missed. And Yip Animation says about Glendale, there's a really cool shopping mall there called the Americana and the Glendale Gallery. I agree, those are both really good. Sherry says, my family and I stayed at the Hampton Inn, Sherman Oaks. Every night you would hear gunshots. My family still makes fun of me for making that reservation. Sherry, I am sorry to laugh at the gunshots, but LA has some really not too great areas, which is why I'm making this video, to share with you the areas that you won't hear gunshots. And Brandon says there's some great looking hotels past it. They're great. Okay, I'm thirsty. What am I drinking today? Today I'm drinking Momo. What is Momo? Kimono. Kimono is the brand. Momo is the flavor. This is a sparkling peach juice made in Hawaii. It contains 48% juice. All right, let's open this up. Very pleasant. Real juice tasting. Doesn't taste like Fanta or a soda. Peachy. Peachy keen. All right. Let's go ahead and go back in for Beverly Hills. Okay. So I'm going to go over here first and we'll do Chris, where is Beverly Hills? Search Beverly Hills. So we scoot over here to the left. we've gone from Pasadena, that was over in this direction. We've scooted across downtown LA, over here past West Hollywood to Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is also near the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Somebody asked earlier if Fairfax is a good area. Fairfax is right near the Grove. I like this area. I also like the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. It is one of the coolest museums in Los Angeles. So if you're an art aficionado, it's great to stay in Beverly Hills because then you can be close to LACMA, as it's called. There's also a shopping mall called the Beverly Center in the neighborhood of Beverly Grove, which is not part of Beverly Hills. This is one, again, these weird distinctions about, like, Beverly Hills is a city that is not part of Los Angeles. It's one of those 88 cities that's part of the county of Los Angeles. Beverly Grove is a neighborhood in the city of Los Angeles, so it gets all weird. What's cool about Beverly Hills? Beverly Hills is ritzy, it's fancy, it's upscale. If you're looking for luxury, living the luxurious life, having afternoon tea and late Sunday brunches, Beverly Hills is going to be the place to be. The con of Beverly Hills, it is expensive and it is stuffy. You're not going to find a whole ton in the way like fast, quick serve. You're going to find a lot of sit-down, expensive places with valet parking. All right, but if you are going to Beverly Hills, what I recommend, and we can zoom out here to find Beverly Hills on this map. Okay, so here in Beverly Hills, starting here, we have the Beverly Hilton. Right next to the Beverly Hilton, we have the Waldorf Astoria by Hilton, Beverly Hills. So one's a little lower end, one's a little higher end. And then a little bit more in the heart of things in Beverly Hills, we have the Four Seasons Hotel at Beverly Hills. And we also have the Hotel Bel Air, made famous by who? The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. That's right. That actually is an actual hotel that exists. If you're looking for something a little cheaper still in the Beverly Hills area, the Sofitel Los Angeles at Beverly Hills, it's just right over here. It's technically in this Beverly Grove area, not Beverly Hills, which makes it cheaper and not quite as foofy. All right, coming over here to the west, we have a pair of cities that are Century City and Culver City. So here in Century City and then down here in Culver City, turns out they're not cities at all. They're at least one of them isn't. The first one isn't, just a neighborhood in LA. But Century City is home to LA's coolest shopping mall. What's that shopping mall? That shopping mall is Westfield Century City. If you like malls, Westfield Century City was recently renovated to the tune of $1 billion, something like that. Is home to Eataly, this great Italian supermarket. They've got great special events around Christmas. Even if you don't love malls, this one's a pretty good one. They've got food halls and things like that. So right next to Westfield Century City is the Fairmont Century Plaza. Fairmont, kind of a high-end Canadian-ish brand, which is now owned by Accor, so I guess it's a French brand, but it's a pretty solid hotel. Now, heading down here to the south to Culver City. Culver City is often known as Screentown, USA. There are a lot of movie studios that are in there. Sony Pictures, Amazon Studios, so it's actually one of the best places to see Hollywood stars walk around. Might be actually in downtown Culver City, not on Hollywood Boulevard. Two hotels I recommend for you. The first one right here is the Culver Hotel. This is a cool, old, historic hotel that's right in their walkable downtown. But if you're looking for something a little bit more modern, Culver City has a lot of new development too. The Shea, a Destination by Hyatt, opened in 2021, and so you can get all the modern amenities of a new hotel right there. Also over here, we're getting a lot closer to the beach, so if you're interested in staying by the beach, that's a good option for you too. I heard a comment in the chat about Westwood, and while I haven't picked a particular hotel there, Westwood is near UCLA, and so if you have a reason to go to UCLA or near UCLA, Westwood's a great place. It's also kind of a cool party, bar, drinking town. And then there was a question of if I'm going to cover the San Gabriel Valley. So let me do that here for a moment, and let's go ahead and back out of this picture. We'll go to this other map to check out the San Gabriel Valley. Let's go ahead and turn off our transit lines. Let's see if Google gives us a thing for San Gabriel Valley. No, that is so not. That is so not what I want. All right. Well, the San Gabriel Valley is generally this area that's kind of like east of Los Angeles, kind of right around here. It's generally known as the Asian part of Los Angeles. If you are looking for some of the best Chinese food, Taiwanese food, Korean food that isn't in K-Town, you will find it here in the San Gabriel Valley. When we're looking to have like Peking duck or things like that, this is where we descend on. If you're looking to have a wedding and you want to make sure that you can be at a hotel that serves Chinese food as part of your banquet, you will find those sorts of hotels in the San Gabriel Valley. Unless you have a reason to be there, friends to be there, things you want to do in the San Gabriel Valley, most of the tourist attractions, not really in the San Gabriel Valley. Okay, so now heading back over here to the west, what do we got next on the list? Next on the list, we've got sunny Santa Monica, California. Santa Monica, another one of those cities of its own that kind of like Los Angeles is cut out from. But if we do this little square right here, Santa Monica from the beach, a couple miles inland, along the 10, along Pacific Coast Highway, famous for being the end of the Route 66 and famous for the Santa Monica Pier right there. This great pier where if you took the Route 66 all the way to the end, you would end up right at this pier. Santa Monica used to be one of my favorite neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Big, wide, sandy beach. I love the pier. There's so much to love about Santa Monica. It has a great 3rd Street promenade. It has a great environment, great restaurants. Unfortunately, the homeless population that's overtaken LA has overtaken Santa Monica too. So lately, it is not as nice as it used to be. If you are planning to stay in a lot of the homeless people, they kind of hang out up here in the downtown Santa Monica side of things. If you're looking to stay in Santa Monica and to kind of get away from that a little bit, there's a couple of cool hotels that are here on the beach, which gets you out of the war zone, maybe as I'll call it. And so if we zoom in this way, those hotels are Shutters on the Beach and Casa del Mar. What's really great about them, they're like literally on the sand. Of course, you're going to pay for that too. You'll find those two that are right down here. 1, 2, and then if you're okay getting up a little bit from the sand, so you'll pay a little bit less, but still have a nice hotel, but maybe be in a little bit more of the urban camping population. Fairmont has another location here, the Miramar Hotel and Bungalows, that is just up the hill from the beach, recently renovated, nice property too. A lot of people ask me, Chris, what about Malibu? Malibu is this big green area over here. Malibu, home to the movie stars, Pamela Anderson, things like that, the rich and the famous, they live over here in Malibu. And for the most part, Malibu is not a great place to stay. And so if we come back here to Google Maps and I come to Malibu and I type in like hotels, or I just click this button here, hotels. There are like very few in Malibu, very few hotels. I mean, like, compare the number of hotels here in Malibu to the number of hotels here in Santa Monica. I mean, it is stark contrast. And then if you take like the drive time to go from the Santa Monica Pier, and then we go and like, oh, why don't you give me directions? And we go directions, and we say Malibu Pier. Like, to go, well, okay. So this is what you would do, and you would go and say like 19 minutes. That doesn't take you very long. But you got to come into Google Maps, and you got to say like depart at, and then you got to say like Friday, and then you got to say like 5 p.m., and then you need to reverse it and say, well, how long does it take me to get there? Or maybe we change that to like July 4th. How about that? You know? And then what was a 20-minute drive is now all of a sudden an hour drive. And so if you're staying in Malibu and trying to get anywhere else in LA, it's just going to take you forever. And so only stay in Malibu if you're going to Malibu. If you are going to stay there, what I recommend, 2 hotels that are kind of like central to the central part of Malibu, right around the pier. There's the Malibu Beach Inn and the Surfrider Malibu. Honestly, I think you're going to be paying for more than you actually get in value, but if Malibu is your destination, consider those. Cottage Full of Love in the chat says Airbnb in Malibu was cool, backed up to trails, very neat. I bet you could find some good Airbnbs in Malibu, and that's probably a better choice than many of the hotels. Brandon says Malibu's its own thing and not really a part of the LA metropolis. I think that's why a lot of the rich and the famous like it, because it is apart from its thing. And then Darkson says the 3rd Street Promenade is pretty much dead after the pandemic. It is, which is very sad. Because I like the 3rd Street Promenade. So on the note of like, if you want to go to Malibu, I would stay in Santa Monica and then like do Malibu as a day trip from Santa Monica. Okay. What do we have next on the list? We're going to go down south from Santa Monica to Venice. I get a lot of questions that people ask me, Chris, is Venice Beach a good place to stay? And we'll go to this other map here for a moment. We're going to clear our driving directions. Venice Beach, one of the most famous beaches in LA. More people go to the Venice Beach boardwalk every year than go to Disneyland every year. True story. Why? Well, because it's free admission. The Venice Beach boardwalk, you can see the Santa Monica Pier in this picture, so it's just next to Santa Monica, but it's famous for a lot of shops, a lot of artisans. It's famous for a YouTuber called German in Venice, who does a lot of videos to show you what Venice Beach actually looks like. Venice Beach, in fact, has canals. It was started as the Venice of America. The nicest part of it probably is the section of it that has canals. The boardwalk is really fun to walk on in the daytime. It's home to Muscle Beach, where Arnold Schwarzenegger got his start. It gets really sketchy at night. For that reason, I don't really recommend Venice. Venice also has a larger homeless population than Santa Monica does. If you are going to stay in Venice, I have one recommendation for you, which is right here in the center of Venice. It is called the Hotel Irwin Venice Beach. It's right in the center of things. It has a great rooftop bar. I think you can even go up there if you're not a hotel guest. But you'll be in the thick of it, and you'll just be back in your hotel room by nighttime, like a good little one. Or you'll be going over to Abbot Kinney. So there's the boardwalk in Venice, and then there's a street right here, this diagonal street called Abbot Kinney, which is where more like the higher end stuff is. Or you'll be exploring the canals, though many people tell me they find the canals to be sketchy at night. Okay, let's go further south to this neighborhood of Marina Del Rey. So this is actually like, if you're looking to go to Venice and you're looking to go to Santa Monica and you want to get away from the homeless, then Marina Del Rey is a really good place to do that. Marina Del Rey is a upscale harbor community, is one of the biggest marinas in the USA. Let me turn this on to satellite view so you can see, like, these are all boats. Like, there are so many boats that are in here. It is really crazy. But related to these boats, there's a number of cool hotels that you can stay here along this marina. In Marina Del Rey, the hotels aren't really along the sandy beach. They're generally along the bay marina here. One of my favorites is the Marina Del Rey Marriott. I like this one because I like Marriott's big hotel. It's also right on this little sandy, kind of like kiddie beach, great for kids because there's not a lot of waves. There are 2 other hotels I recommend in Marina Del Rey. They're just further down. They're like right next to each other, and they're new: the Residence Inn and the Courtyard Marina Del Rey. Okay, next question I get a lot of people that ask is, Chris, what about near LAX? What about near Los Angeles International Airport? Near LAX can be a great place to stay because it's convenient for your flight coming in or your flight leaving. There are a lot of hotels around LAX because there's so many hotels around LAX. There's a lot of competition, which brings the prices down. Near LAX can often be one of the most inexpensive places to stay. Almost of anywhere in LA. There are 2 main areas to stay near LAX. One is along this street right here, which is Century Boulevard. This is the main road into LAX from the 405 freeway. The other one is in the neighboring city here of El Segundo. The pro of Century Boulevard is it's closer to the airport. If you want to walk to the airport, the Hyatt Regency is my favorite hotel within walking distance. You can see it's actually like right next to the LAX sign right there. So you can walk from LAX to the Hyatt Regency. You can walk from the Hyatt Regency to LAX. There's a ton of hotels on this strip. A couple of others that I have personally stayed at is the Los Angeles Airport Marriott. Marriott, and also the Renaissance Los Angeles Airport Hotel. They have shuttles that'll also take you to and from the hotel that you can ride. Century Boulevard, though, it's soulless. You're not going to walk anywhere. You're going to be driving to and from these hotels to anywhere else you want to go. For something a little more homey, like if you're going to stay for more than a night or two, then I would recommend over here in El Segundo. I really like the Hyatt Place El Segundo. Ignore this picture. It's not that close to the pier. It's an extended stay hotel. Good rooms, comfortable. It is also close to a metro line. If you want to take some public transit around within a few blocks, you'll find a review that I've done on this one too. If you're looking for an extended stay, free breakfast, family friendly, albeit not much you'd walk to from there either, but not as sketchy of a feeling area as Century Boulevard. And Century is not as sketchy as like downtown LA or things like that. There's not much going on that street other than cars coming and going. Okay, let's take a few comments from the chat before we go on to Manhattan Beach. The Traveling Foodies really likes the Westin near LAX. Points Traveler says the H Hotel at LAX is a great plane spotting rooftop. Thank you for that trip, Points Traveler. Also, the In-N-Out Burger next to LAX, great plane spotting stop. Codge Full of Love asks what I'm drinking tonight. My Momo Sparkling Peach Juice is what I am drinking tonight. And there we go. Those are the chats about that. There are a few chats about Venice and homeless people that are still there. And Willie says that the canals aren't nearly dried up. I mean, they're small, but I don't know that I would call them dried up per se. Just depends what tide you go to, whether they're big or whether they're small. Okay. Back to our screen share. Let's go to Manhattan Beach. So Manhattan Beach is the beach community just to the south of El Segundo. And the thing about Manhattan Beach, although it has a lot of like sandy beach coastline and it has a cool pier right here. Actually, here, let's go this way so you can see the cool pier. Here's all the glory that LAX is. There is a beach in front of LAX. You probably don't want to go there because you're just smelling jet fuel all the time. But if you get, and El Segundo is home to a big Chevron plant, so that's a lot of El Segundo. And then just south of that is Manhattan Beach. Manhattan Beach is one of my favorite beaches in Los Angeles County. We're going to get to the Orange County beaches, which are my favorite beaches in the whole region. But Manhattan Beach is one of my favorites in LA County, close to LAX. There aren't really any sandy, like beachfront hotels in Manhattan Beach, but there are a couple of cool hotels. One is near the pier. So this is like a cool pier in Manhattan Beach. It's got like an aquarium that's at the end of it. Fun thing to walk down. Manhattan Beach is great to run around, chill out, bike. But the hotels that I recommend you stay at in Manhattan Beach, one is the Shade Hotel. It's kind of a small local chain, but they've got like Tempur-Pedic mattresses and just really kind of small boutique vibe. It is, you know, six blocks from the beach, so you'll be at the beach within 5 minutes from the hotel or something like that. My second recommendation, a little further back in Manhattan Beach, but that means if you're trying to go see the rest of LA, you're not suffering in beach traffic all the time, is the West Drift Manhattan Beach Autographed Collection. It's a cool hotel on a golf course that's been recently remodeled. I have stayed there a number of times, enjoyed my stay, and also enjoyed the location. Going down, we've got this neighborhood of Hermosa Beach. Chris, what about Hermosa Beach? Hermosa Beach is a small party beach city, just a few small boutique hotels, so not a ton of places to stay in Hermosa. But if we come down here to the south to Redondo Beach, and I'm going to come over here so we can click on and see the pier a little bit better. So Redondo Beach is famous for the Redondo Beach Pier. I've got videos on Redondo Beach. I got videos on the Redondo Beach Pier. It's kind of this cool like U-shaped pier. Lots of cool restaurants. Great place to view the sunset. Great places to see a seagull. Really popular for Korean food on the pier, believe it or not. There's a ton of like Korean crab restaurants. If you're looking for uni, sea urchin, you'll find like live sea urchin restaurants that are up here. And of course, pictures of friendly pelicans. The good part if you're looking to stay is that there are 3 nice hotels that are just kind of like right here to the side of the pier. The con is that they're by the harbor and they're not by the sandy part of Redondo Beach, which is over this way. Most of the hotels are over on this harbor side. But from the harbor side, it's just maybe a 10-minute walk to get over to the sand. The Shade Hotel, they have another location here, Redondo Beach. This is the one I've stayed at. We enjoyed that one. It, in addition to having Tempur-Pedic mattresses, also had, in our room, a bathtub on the balcony. All right. Oh, and by the way, like any of these that you see, like my recommendation on it, like if you were to click like book now, you could figure out some dates that you would want to stay there, but then you can see like my review of it, and then you can like click on this and watch the whole Yellow Productions review of it. All right, we're not going to do that because you can do that one at your leisure. The other couple hotels that are just right around there that I think are also pretty solid is the Redondo Beach Hotel Tapestry Collection by Hilton, just right next to the Shade, and then even closer is the Sonesta Redondo Beach and Marina Hotel. It used to be a Marriott, but was rebranded Sonesta. I don't think it's, even if you look at the reviews on here, they're not quite as good as the Shade Hotel. People like that one better, but pretty good beachy location. Okay, now we've got this neighborhood down here. There's really nothing on the beach here in Torrance, not much hotels on the beach. We get this community of Palos Verdes, and if you're looking to someplace like Malibu to just be in a resort all to yourself, there's one cool resort here at the end of Palos Verdes called the Terranea Resort. I see some comments in the chat where Pink Killer says South Bay, which this area we were looking at is known as the South Bay, is a great place to stay if you were just coming for the beach, for sure. Danielle says, what about Terranea Resort? I think it's a great resort if you're looking to just be at the resort down there. And Willie points out that yes, if you're coming to LA during the summer, stay as close as possible near the water, the cooler the better. Yet there can be like a huge temperature difference near the beach and just a 20-minute drive from the beach, which is absolutely why many of the hotels we're looking at are close to the coast, because that is absolutely where people want to be. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and bring the map back up before I zoom back in. So the South Bay area that people talk about generally is this area kind of like south of LAX over here. They call it the South Bay. This is the Palos Verdes Peninsula, pretty rural. And we're gonna head over here and talk about San Pedro and Long Beach, and then work our way down the coastal community of Orange County and talk about the home of Disneyland over here in Anaheim too. Okay, now as I zoom out on this map first for a moment, you will notice a stark area of emptiness, which is right here, which is another one about like where you probably don't want to stay. And it's not because that it's necessarily awful, but there's not much to see and do as a tourist in generally this part, which is like south of the 10, east of the 405, and then west of the 605. That's kind of like an area where not much touristy stuff, not many hotels in that area too. If you are planning to stay in that area, just look a little closer at the hotel. Like, you know, am I getting a good value, or is this the kind of hotel that I'm gonna have to pay like cash only and put a deposit down before I stay there? Okay. San Pedro has a lot of those kind of hotels. Why would you want to stay in San Pedro? San Pedro is close to the cruise ship port. So if you're taking a cruise ship in and out of LA, the cruise terminal, one of the cruise terminals is right here. There is a nice DoubleTree hotel in San Pedro. That's about the only place I recommend you stay in San Pedro, really just on your night in and out for a cruise. The other cruise port is over here in Long Beach. The Carnival cruises depart from over here. The hotel I recommend if you're going to Long Beach for a cruise, or the convention center, is the Hyatt Regency Long Beach right here. It's right kind of on the Long Beach Harbor, a pretty area. Nice for riding bikes and things like that. There's a little like lake in front of it. You can do paddle boats. There's a nice shopping mall that's right next to it. The other hotel you might consider in Long Beach is the Long Beach Marriott Hotel. I've stayed at this one for like a couple weeks once, and it just was a good base. Back when I was still living in San Diego, it was a good base for some stuff we were doing in the LA region. It's also right next to Long Beach Airport, so if you're coming in and out of Long Beach Airport, primarily on Southwest Airlines, that's a convenient spot to stay. Okay, now I told you this thing earlier about like LA, county, city, greater metropolitan area. When we leave this demarcation line right here, when we go past this freeway, then we're going to be leaving LA County and we're going to be entering Orange County. People who live here will be like, Chris, it's not LA, but people who are visiting, it's all part of the same trip. It's all part of the same place. So let's go ahead and talk about Disneyland. Disneyland is in this city called Anaheim. Disneyland is right here. There are 3 main Disneyland hotels. If you're looking to stay closest to the park, the Grand Californian Lodge, I think is the name. I don't know. So it's close to that. It's right next to California Adventure. It's the closest property to the parks. It's actually it's actually literally in California Adventure. Like some of the rooms actually look into the theme park. The Disneyland Hotel is the next closest, and then they've got the Paradise Pier, Pixar Pier Hotel, a little further away, but those are your 3 to stay on the Disneyland property. Though there's a tons of hotels right around the property, and they're all really close by. You don't quite get the same perks, but you're going to save a lot of money if you stay off property. Which hotels do I recommend? Right here, I recommend the Hyatt House at Anaheim Resort Convention Center, fairly new extended stay hotel. I recommend the Spring Hill Suites. There's a couple of them, but I recommend this one. The Hotel Indigo, Anaheim. All of these are within like a 10-minute walk to the main gate of Disneyland. A little further away, but not that much further away. There's a new JW Marriott that just opened in the last couple of years, and then there's a new Westin as well. So those are great options if you're going to Disneyland. And if you're into a Residence Inn, it's a little further away. You'd probably be driving or Ubering if you end up down here. But the reason why I mark that one is to say that like Anaheim can actually be a good place to stay to explore Orange County. Another one where like if you're staying right next to Disneyland, it's expensive, but you stay a couple blocks away and the room rates drop drastically because there are so many hotels, there's a lot of competition. You can often find inexpensive hotel rates in new hotels in Anaheim. Okay, going down to the beachy areas down this way. I'll point out before we get there, airport in Orange County, if you're going to Disneyland and you're not doing any of that LA stuff, John Wayne Airport, closest airport to get into Disneyland. This is Chris's home airport. This is where we fly in and out of a lot. I don't have any hotels from Irvine on this list, but there's a lot of great new hotels in Irvine as well. Most people tend to not see Irvine as a destination, but that's where many of the major hotels around John Wayne Airport are. But most people come to Orange County on vacation for the beach, and so let's hit those up. My 3 favorite beach communities in Orange County: Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach. Those are the ones I'm going to hit some hotels for. In Huntington Beach, there are a number of hotels that are not directly on the sand, but they're right across the street from the sand. Huntington Beach is known as Surf City, USA. Surfable waves almost all year round. I really like the Hyatt Regency Huntington Beach. If we head down to the south here into Newport Beach, you're not going to find this to be on the sand. Newport Beach does not have a lot of hotels that are on the sand, but one that's maybe a 10-minute walk from the sand, the Lido House Autograph Collection. It's a cool hotel that kind of looks like a boathouse. It's new, but it's made to look old, so you get the benefits of that, and it's in this really... Palmer Luckey, the guy who made $1 billion off Facebook buying his VR goggles, like he lives in this part of the world. If you're looking for like a fancy resort, then just over this way in Newport Beach is the Resort at Pelican Hill. Big resort overlooking the ocean on a golf course. Not walkable to the beach, but they do have shuttles that'll take you down to the beach. Coming down to Laguna Beach to the south, and this was an ask earlier about, Chris, what is your favorite beach in the area, in the LA area? Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach is my favorite beach in the LA area. I personally go to Laguna Beach probably once a month, I would say. I love to go down a walk. I love to go down there in the ocean. A lot of great restaurants, a lot of great hotels. There are 7 hotels that are on the sand in Laguna Beach. It has this kind of cool village vibe. The Con Laguna Beach, the traffic's awful. It has the same problem as Malibu does, though not to the same level because it's still connected to stuff over here. But you can see there's this like big mountain range between Laguna Beach and everything else, and there's a single road that you take to come in here, so the traffic can be a little tough, but it's not nearly as cut off from the world as Malibu is. If you're looking for the #1 hotel in like #1 best hotel in Laguna Beach, is going to be the Montage. The Montage, amazing hotel on this coastal bluff. Amazing place to stay. In the summer, expect to spend $1,000 a night to stay at the Montage. It's really pricey. If you're looking for something a little less expensive and a little closer to the village in Laguna, you can check out the Capri Laguna Beach. It is this kind of like funky, almost like Italian beach motel feeling thing. It's a really quirky hotel, but the views are nice. The rooms are nice-ish. You will save money to stay there. It won't be cheap, but it'll be unique stay. Get a room with a balcony, and that's why you stay there. Okay, and then finally, Dana Point and Laguna Niguel. What's special about this area? There's a couple of pretty nice resorts down here, and you won't end up paying the same premium prices that you do in Santa Monica or Laguna Beach. They're going to be a little less expensive. There's a Ritz-Carlton Laguna Niguel right here that is overlooking the ocean right on the bluff. And then just set back on the other side of the road is the Waldorf Astoria by Hilton Monarch Beach, another really big resort, big golf course. OC Girl and I actually spent our wedding night at this hotel after we got married. We had a reception in Laguna Beach, we got married in Dana Point, and then went here before we actually flew out of LAX to our real honeymoon destination. And then there's one final hotel on the list, which is the Laguna Cliffs Marriott Resort and Spa. This one is a cool Marriott that overlooks the Dana Point Harbor right here. You see this little line right this way. This one is convenient if you are looking to take a ferry over to Catalina. Catalina Island is this island just off the coast over here. Popular for day trips, popular for couple night trips, lots of natural stuff over there, small little town over there. But one of the ferries that heads over there leaves from here in Dana Point.
Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer.
All right, fellow explorers, that is every place I recommend in LA. If there's a place I didn't mention that you really like, share it with a fellow explorer. And if you've got a question about LA, let me know what it is. If you're on the live stream, I will take them live. If you are watching the archive, let me know too, because I love answering questions on the archived videos as well. I'm moving a few screens around just so that I can get back to my chat up on this screen. This is the challenge about like when I do the screen share, then we end up with like 82 different things. All right, I'm gonna look at the chat up on this window right here. I'll put this over here. All right, so Star says Torrance Hotel. Yes, what do I recommend in Torrance? And I said I would answer that if you asked me at the end. So let's go ahead and pull up. We'll do this kind of in real time. So we will pull up screen share. We'll look at Torrance right here. Torrance, big Japanese community, and Star want to know about the Mitsuya, like a hotel near Mitsuya and Torrance. I would come here. I would click hotels, and what do we got here? Doubletree by Hilton, Torrance, Marriott, Redondo Beach, Residence Inn. Oh, that looks like an old one. So hey, those would be my two for you. The Torrance Marriott Redondo Beach or the Doubletree by Hilton Torrance South Bay. All right, there we go. Back to this. Okay. YouTube Fest says, what is the best Mexican food in Orange County? My favorite Mexican food in Orange County. I should just leave the screen share up here. My favorite Mexican food in Orange County is a place called Jalapenos in Tustin, California. I like this place for their carne asada. You go in there and you'll see them like chopping it up right in front of you. They have good tacos, good tortillas. The carne asada is the thing to get here. I really like the carne asada torta from Jalapenos. If you like fish tacos, then my recommendation for you is this place called Baja Fish Tacos. They have maybe 6 locations in Orange County. This one is near South Coast Plaza, the biggest shopping mall in California, highest end shopping mall in the area. This line out the door tells you how good they are. Let's see, I'm looking for pictures of the fish tacos. Where's a picture of the fish taco when you need them? But they're super delicious. All right, back here. Henry, thank you for support, says, Chris, will you ever do a video on what to do in Catalina Island? Have you explored Catalina Island? I have been to Catalina Island. I've been there for an overnight trip before Osigo and I went. We didn't make a video before we made videos of everything else. I do want to get back there again, do a video. Osigo gets seasick though, so she doesn't find that ride too great. I might have to do that just myself on a day trip, but is on my list of things that I do want to do. Esther says, I'm going to the Dignity Health Sports Park in Torrance. Is it too hard to walk past the highway or Uber it? Esther, I've never been to the Dignity Health Sports Park in Torrance. When you mean past the highway, I'm not sure what you mean, like underneath the 91 or underneath the 405, or where are you staying that you're trying to go there? But it's not, I mean, looking at the area that it's in, looking at the area that this Dignity Health Sports Park is in, like, if you were staying around here on this side, then I'd walk. But yeah, if you were staying on the other side of the freeways, you might want to Uber it just because it seems far to me. Patrick says, I'm happy to take you on a scenic flight next time you're in LA. All right, Patrick, thank you for that offer. YouTube Fest says, what is the best matcha in Orange County? I think Omomo Tea Shop makes pretty good matcha in Irvine. That'd be my recommendation for you. It really helps if I put that screen share on. Yeah, that's my recommendation for you. Omomo Tea Shop for matcha. There's also there's a new matcha, whether it's new or not. It's a chain. They've got a number of locations, some in OC, some in LA. But Junbi is like a place that is like all about matcha, as you can see from the drinks that are right here. My favorite matcha place in LA is actually not in Orange County, but is in Little Tokyo. And if we search here for matcha, we will get this place. This is my favorite matcha place in Southern California. Tea Master Matcha Cafe and Green Tea Shop. Really great matcha drinks. Really great ice cream. There's also a great matcha shop in the Mitsuya in Torrance, too. Christian says, where do you recommend staying in the Santa Clarita area doing a Magic Mountain trip? Yeah, I didn't cover Magic Mountain. Magic Mountain is one of the big theme parks that's around here. That was so not. So not what I was looking for. Six Flags Magic Mountain. Ha, ha, ha. All right, Six Flags Magic Mountain over here. There's just a number of hotels that are like out in front of Six Flags Magic Mountain. So, you know, like this Hyatt Regency would probably be pretty nice if you like Hyatts. Over here, there's like, a Spring Hill Suites or Residence Inn. These are noisy and by the freeway, so I would probably pick this Hyatt Regency over here. That's what I would do. All right. Doom Gobber says, best way to find seasonal or events in the LA area. I would do a Google search for like, what's going on in LA? That's what I would do. I don't know events calendar. You could probably Google events calendar. As someone who lives here, I probably never like looked that up. So I probably should have a good answer for you. Jessica says best deli in LA. LA is not a good sandwich town. It just isn't. Like the East Coast is definitely like the sandwich place of the world. So I mean, if you're looking for Jewish delis or things like that, I don't think you're going to find great ones in LA as compared to what you would find in New York.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, fellow explorers, it is giveaway time, and my question for you to win a Yellow Production shirt, and right now, I should tell you what shirts I'm giving away. So I'm giving away the Yellow Productions Boba shirt. So if we click right here, and we do the screen share. Today, we're giving away the What Am I Drinking Today shirt. We're in a new season here where I'm releasing some new Yellow Productions merch because people have asked for new shirts. I'm doing one a month, so if you didn't win one, you can pick one up for the discounted price of $20. It'll go up to $25 here in September when I release the next new shirt. It comes in a few different colors. It comes in ash, it comes in red, it comes in blue, it comes in white, it comes in pink. But if you truly want to represent Yellow Productions, you'll get the yellow. If you win one, you'll get a yellow one. If you want to buy one, you can pick one of the other colors. If you don't win one, you can find the Yellow Production shop.yellow-productions.com. All right, so what is my question for you? My question for you is, on my list of hotels that I recommended before that I was sharing with you, how many hotels were on that list? If you are the first person to put the right number into the chat, you will absolutely win. While we are doing that, there are a few people that said delis. LA is known for pastrami sandwiches, and Danielle says Factors and Cantor's Deli are the two most famous delis in LA's Fairfax district. All right. Thank you for that recommendation and helping a fellow explorer out. As I wait for numbers to roll in, we'll drink some sparkling peach juice. And let's see what the number is up here. The number of hotels that were recommended on this list is 63. Okay, so now, here we go. Screen share, 63. So now people always say, Chris, I was the first one. How do you pick? I was first up my screen. Here's what I do. I've got, I can't drag it over. But, where is it? Here, we'll go here. All right, so I got this right here. This is the way I look at the chat messages. This is the app that I use. And when I click on one of these, on Wild Shaman, you're not the winner. But when I click on one of these and I push send, then it puts that up on the screen. So what I do when I have an answer, and these are all sorted by time. You can see how long ago this message came in. These are when they came in for me. So I know that I'm looking for the number of 63. So I come in here and I go to the search and I type in 63 and I click search, and then I look and see who was the first person to say 63. And Claudio, congratulations. You are the winner of the Yellow Productions Boba shirt. Send me an email, chris@yellow-productions.com. Let me know your size and your address, and I will get that headed right over to you. Grant, you were number 2. Sorry, you weren't the winner. Michael Yip, you were number 3. But the prize goes to Claudio. Did I push the winner? I don't think I did. Here we go, winner.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Well, all right, fellow explorers, as always, it was great to hang out with y'all today. Hopefully I answered some of your questions about where to stay in Los Angeles. Again, if you got more, leave them in the comments on the archive, and I'll get an answer right back at you. There will not be a live stream next week if you're tuning into the live streams. Live streams should be back the week after next. Fellow explorers, as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'm going to see you in the next video.